To seek first the kingdom and God's righteousness demands that Christians make specific choices in life. Money. In most lands, it is a necessity, and it can serve as a protection. However, what priority should it be given? It is vital that spiritual pursuits take first place in life. But how can one do that when the pressures of daily life become more and more demanding? To find the balance between our material and spiritual needs is to find true happiness and satisfaction.
Julius, are you coming to the gathering tonight?
I've been looking forward to it all week.
Everyone will be there.
Oh, the gathering. I can't. My parents invited Brother Timothy for dinner. I planned it weeks ago.
Julius, you promised.
Lydia, I want to come, believe me. But
This is so typical for you, Julius. Always trying to make a good impression when the overseer's here. What are you trying to prove?
I'm not trying to prove anything.
Then come. Who would you rather disappoint? Brother Timothy? Or your friends?
Forget it. Sisters, let's go. Julius obviously is a bit confused right now. When Timothy leaves, he'll be himself again.
We'll be there if you decide to come, Julius.
Excuse me, friends. Hello, Julius. Have your parents left?
I'm sorry, Brother Timothy. What did you say?
Have your parents gone home already?
Yes, they went ahead to prepare dinner. They really enjoy your visits, Brother Timothy.
Coming back to Ephesus is like coming home for me. Julius, is something wrong?
Excuse me, Brother Timothy.
Something's weighing on your mind.
No, I'm fine.
Could it have something to do with your friends who just left?
Oh, them? No, they don't bother. Well, yes, I guess you're right. They were talking about, well, about the way I act when you're around.
What I see is a young man who's progressing well in the truth.
Exactly. It seems that way. When you're here, your influence is so strong. And when you go, there's so much pressure to do what everyone else is doing.
I see.
It's like my heart is torn in two. I have spiritual goals, but I can't seem to stay focused. Higher learning, the games, and girls, I seem to lose my way. You probably don't understand a word I just said.
Perhaps I do understand. There was a time in my life when I think I was very much like you.
How could that be? You're a pillar among the congregations.
I didn't really become fully involved in my ministry until I was a little older than you are now. Growing up, I was pulled in two different directions. I always thought of myself as a Jew because of my mother and grandmother, but my father was Greek. I never felt like a real Jew. I was too timid at times to tell my father how I really felt.
You? Timid?
And when I had to explain to my father that I wanted to become a Christian, and later that I wanted to serve Jehovah more fully, I was frightened even thinking about having to face up to him.
How did you deal with the pressure?
Let me tell you about some of the events that changed my life. It was more than 20 years ago, back in my hometown, Lystra. The Jews had just stoned the Apostle Paul. My mother, Eunice, and my grandmother, Lois, had embraced the Christian faith, and I had to make some difficult decisions.
Good to see you, brothers.
We took the Apostle Paul into our home and cared for his wounds. I knew the Christian course wasn't popular, but I'd never seen anything like this.
Paul, please promise me that you'll be more careful. A lot of people still want to hurt you. And your wounds. Shall I dress them again?
My dear Eunice, you've done enough. You know we must enter into the kingdom of God through many tribulations. Timothy, we haven't heard a word out of you.
Brother Paul, what can I say? I've never seen such an angry crowd. They went from hailing you and Brother Barnabas as gods to beating you and leaving you for dead. But then you got up and went right back into the city. And you, Brother
My son, the power beyond what is normal is not out of ourselves. Jehovah supplies it.
Brothers, we've prepared some food for your journeys.
Thank you, sisters. Is it ready?
Yes, come with me. We'll pack it up.
Brother Paul, I'm curious. How should I put this? Do you have any regrets?
Regrets? No, my son. Even in my darkest moment, I have never regretted my choice to give up worldly fortune and fame. It was useless. I consider it as mere refuse. I only regret not having given it up sooner.
Yet, look at what you've lost.
No, look at what I've gained. For 13 years, I've enjoyed the privilege of strengthening our brothers. I've helped form new congregations. I've seen crowds of disciples everywhere turning to the Lord. Regrets? No, Timothy, I have no regrets.
Not even after enemies of the truth beat you mercilessly?
Timothy, do you consider Jesus to be a model for us to imitate?
Of course.
Before coming to this earth, what was his position?
He was God's master worker, happy before God all the time.
And then what?
He delivered us from sin and death.
Right, but not before giving up everything and becoming a slave. He was viewed as a despicable blasphemer, an accursed criminal worthy of death. Was all of that in vain, a failure?
Of course not.
So self-sacrifice results in great gain, does it not? It's not a life wasted. It's a life lived to the full. It's a life lived with the only worthwhile purpose.
But Jesus was God's Son, and his purpose was so noble.
That's true. But is our purpose any less noble when compared to the mold this world tries to squeeze us into? What are the nations eagerly pursuing?
Prominence, glory. Athletes gain great fame and a great deal of money.
Fine. Let me test your memory. What was the name of the runner who won the sprint race at the Olympics the year that Alexander, the king of Macedonia, attended the games?
How would anyone know that?
And do you remember then who was crowned champion at the wrestling contest 40 years later?
I have no idea.
Isn't that interesting? They trained hard. They sacrificed certain pleasures in life. They won their cherished prize, and yet you can't recall their names. Now, let me ask you, what was the name of someone who as a little boy began serving at Jehovah's Tabernacle?
Now that's easy. Samuel.
And what about the young woman who was a queen in Persia and put her life in danger for Jehovah's people?
That's not difficult either. Esther, the cousin of Mordecai.
Why do you remember those names?
Because they're in the Holy Writings.
Yes, but why are they there? What do Samuel and Esther have in common?
They were devoted to God.
And they were self-sacrificing. Would you say that their life of self-denial led to failure?
Failure? No. I'm certain that their names are written in the book of life.
whatever they sacrificed to serve Jehovah. Do you think it was worth it?
I think I see your point, Brother Paul. So if we use...
The sisters have prepared more provisions than you and I will ever need.
My dear sisters, we will always remember your hospitality and love.
Our love and our prayers go with you, Paul.
My son, remember what we discussed.
I won't forget it. That night, I made it my determination to put kingdom interests first in my life.
Hello. Oh, I like this.
The next day at the marketplace, I wanted to share this good news with my best friend, Jonathan. Then Paul asked me, do you remember who the little boy was who began serving in the tabernacle in Israel? And right then I understood what he was trying to teach me.
Even I know he's talking about Samuel.
True, but that wasn't the point. Samuel and others made a name with Jehovah, and they will always stand as examples for us. They truly had fulfilling lives in Jehovah's service. For men like Samuel, it wasn't about selfish pursuits. It was about self-sacrifice.
So what are you getting at?
Ever since we got baptized, I've seriously been considering my future.
Hey, don't you think I know that? We've always had long talks about this since we were children.
Yes, but now I finally am focused on the goals I want to pursue. I want to use my life to the full in God's service.
Wait a minute. You've always been focused. I mean, we've always been focused. Our goal's been to go to school together in Athens. What suddenly changed that?
My conversation with Paul has made me re-examine my priorities. Ever since he became a Christian, Paul has used his life to honor God. I can't get over how happy he is with the decisions he's made. I want to be just as happy as he is.
And I want to serve God too, Timothy. But there's goals I want to achieve first. Education, marriage.
There's nothing wrong with those plans. But maybe we should be reaching out for spiritual goals first.
Why? What's the rush? We have our whole lives ahead of us.
I know, Jonathan.
What's your father gonna say? You don't even want to tell him, do you?
I am going to tell him. Tonight, in fact.
Remember when we were younger? We used to talk all the time about going to school at Athens together, learning at the feet of the masters, establishing a profitable business, maybe even moving our families to Ephesus. Those were our goals.
And there's still a part of me that wants that, for both of us. But I also want to honor Jehovah by doing all I can in his service.
You could do both. Lead a normal life and preach. Hey, Timothy, look around you. I mean, there are great opportunities ahead. Look at this prosperous nation.
Yes, look at this nation and see how many need to hear the good news.
Timothy, I love you like a brother, but this isn't going to change my goals. Next month, I'm leaving for Athens, whether you come with me or not.
I can no longer ride in the faith of my mother and grandmother. I know what I must do.
God's blessing, Timothy. I have to go. Be well.
You too, Jonathan. That was difficult. But it was nothing compared to what I had to face next.
Timothy, is that you?
Yes, Mother.
Did you get the provisions?
Well, not really.
Are you okay, son?
I told Jonathan that I want to do more in God's service.
Well, that's wonderful.
No, you don't understand. Jonathan didn't think it was wonderful. It was almost as if he felt betrayed.
I'm sorry, Timothy. That must have disappointed you. But he has to make his own decision about serving God more fully. You know, that's not going to be easy. Not everyone will encourage you to pursue Christian goals.
No, not everyone. But he is one of my best friends. Surely he should understand.
What a day.
Your father is here. it might be time to tell him of your desire as well. Say a prayer, son, for courage. I'm going to go and finish the meal.
Ah, hello, Timothy.
Hello, Father.
The marketplace was packed today. The Roman garrison brought so much business. Something smells good. I'm home, Eunice. So tell me, son, how was your day?
Excellent, Father.
You must share it with me, then. The talk in the market today was about that preacher, Paul. No one can believe he returned to the city after what happened. Among his many faults, he is a courageous man.
I would say so.
This I cannot believe. Here's a man from a prominent family who had a good education for a Jew. He has the rare talent to become somebody, but look at him. He's reviled. I will never understand a man like that. But you, my son, I want you to enjoy a good life and to take over the family business.
Thank you, Father.
You're gifted, intelligent. There's never been a better time for a young man like you. Use your talents to get ahead in the world.
Father, now that you mention it...
Yes?
Say
it, Timothy. Speak your mind.
I need to tell you something.
Yes. Tell me about your day. Wait. This doesn't have anything to do with that man Paul, does it?
No, Father. It's about me.
That's a relief.
I have no desire to go to Athens.
Fine, Timothy. If not Athens, then Alexandria. I just want you to have the best education possible. Either city can give you that.
No, Father, you don't understand.
My son, I have great confidence in you, even if you don't have it in yourself. I've groomed you for this all your life.
Yes, Father, and I appreciate what you've done for me. But my goals have changed. I want to engage more fully in preaching the good news about Christ.
What? What did you say?
I want to pursue my ministry full-time.
Timothy, do you know what you're saying? Do you want to bring ostracism upon this household and upon yourself? Everybody everywhere speaks against this sect. How could you throw your life away for it?
I'm not throwing my life away.
No? How else shall I view your decision? Those accursed followers of that man Jesus are despised and persecuted. Will our family become a laughingstock? No. No, Timothy, no son of mine will do this.
I only want to do God's will.
Is it God's will for you to be dead? I want you alive. Am I going to find you outside the city one day clinging to life because our people turned on you like they turned on Paul? No, this cannot be.
Father, you know that I love you deeply, but you always taught me to honor the gods. I am honoring the only true God. This is the best way I know how to do that.
This is not what we had planned. This is not what I dreamed for you. Timothy, you've broken my heart. Eunice, put my dinner away. I'm no longer hungry.
I'm sorry, Brother Timothy. I can't help but feel so foolish for coming to you with my small problems. What you went through, I never knew.
So many of our brothers are going through far worse.
Did your father ever speak to you again?
Certainly. In fact, he allowed me to pursue my goals. And he always supported our household while he was alive. He was a good man.
So how long was it before you traveled with Paul?
Some years later, after I lived in Iconium for a short time. Traveling with Brother Paul was quite a blessing. But before the blessing came other tests. Mother, are you sure you're making enough food? The brothers from Iconium are also coming. From what I remember, they have big appetites.
Don't worry, Timothy. Leave the cooking to us. You just go make sure you have that room in order for them to meet in.
It's ready.
Jonathan!
Jonathan! Oh my, how long has it been since we've seen you?
Oh, about 2 or 3 years, Sister Lois.
My friend, it's wonderful to see you.
Oh, so good to see you too, Timothy.
And who is this?
You remember Persis? We all used to play together when we were children until our family moved to Athens.
Why, of course. Oh, and look how you've grown into a lovely young woman.
Oh, thank you, Sister Lois.
Well, we came to announce that we're engaged to be married.
That's wonderful!
Congratulations.
Thank you. I also came to talk to you, my friend. It's been so long since we've been able to talk face to face.
I read every one of your letters, Jonathan.
There's so much in those letters I couldn't tell you, Timothy. I can't even begin to describe what it was like being in Athens. The education I received just opened my mind.
I got my experience in Iconium and...
Are you serious? I'm talking about a higher education in Athens. You have heard of it, haven't you? The games, the theater, the great teachers.
Remember, I was planning on going there with you. But Iconium, now that was an experience. The congregation there gave me my real education. What a joy it was to see young ones making the truth their own.
Well, if they wanted to see another follower of Jesus, they had to look no further. They had Timothy in the flesh.
Actually, I learned more than they did.
Oh, please. You don't know what a real education is till you go to a place like Athens. I'm ready for anything the world throws my way.
Sounds like things have worked out for you.
So, what about you? I know it must be tough after your father died, and the family business isn't what it used to be. Now, what are your plans, Timothy? Don't you want financial security?
We're content having sustenance and covering. Keeping my life simple has given me freedom to do more for the congregation.
Yeah, but don't you ever wonder what's out there?
There are times when I think about having more, but I found that true to the Master's words, giving a God service brings real happiness.
You always have struggled to maintain your spiritual priorities, and for that I do admire you. But as for me and my household, we're moving to Ephesus.
Really?
I met this prominent Christian from Ephesus who is in Athens on business. His name is Philetus, and he's got this thriving trading company, and he asked me to join. Timothy, I told him about you, and from what he says, there's plenty of opportunity in his city for both of us.
Really? But I don't want to leave my ministry.
Well, I would never want you to do that. But Timothy, if you need anything, write me. Believe me, this will be worth your while.
Paul and Silas will be here shortly. They would love to see you. Why not stay and...
Jonathan?
I'd love to, but...
Jonathan, your parents are waiting.
We have to go.
Jonathan, how I've enjoyed seeing you again. Exactly what did you mean when you said it would be worth my while?
Timothy,